crafty friends, to Funday Monday number 9. Today we are going to make hat number 3 for the Hat Not Hate project that we're working on. And so I'm excited. Again, today the hat pattern that I'm introducing to you is a design that I created. Now, with that being said though, I did not create the stitches. I am not taking any claim to the stitches because I did not create them. All I did was take a combination of stitches that someone else has made and put them together to create the pattern for this hat. So I made 2 hats using the same pattern, but as you can see, they are different types of yarn, different colors of yarn, but they are the same hat made with the same pattern. And so this hat was made from the brim up, and the brim was made using a single crochet in the back loops only to create this ridge effect that you see. And then the body of the hat was made using the double crochet stitch and a single crochet stitch all in the same stitch, and then you skip a stitch and then you use that combination again of double crochet, single crochet in the next stitch. And that's how we created this hat. Now, as you can see with this hat, it was all using one type of yarn, and this variegated Twilight Red Heart acrylic yarn. And then this one was made with 2 different colors. And I will tell you what types of yarn I used on these. The first yarn that I used is Kero Simply Soft. And it also is a 4-weight medium yarn. Let's see if I can show you that a little bit better. There you go. And it is also 100% acrylic, just like the Twilight Red Heart yarn. And then I used Kero Simply Soft, I don't have the label, white yarn. So, and then I am continuing to use a J 6.0mm hook. Again, I don't know if you can see that 6 on there, but that is the size hook that I am using. And then you'll need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. And so if you're ready, let's get started and we will make this hat. So to do this tutorial today, I'm going to use Kai by Loops and Threads yarn. It is 308 yards in this skein, 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. It is in the colorway Cupcake. It is a light 3-weight yarn. See if you can see that. And it is machine wash and dryable. And it is 100% acrylic. And this yarn was purchased at Michael's. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I took that yarn and I made it into a nice little cake with my yarn winder, and we are ready to get started. And before we do, I am going to show you the hats one more time because I realized I forgot to tell you what I decided to name these hats. And I have decided to name these hats in this pattern DS Coupe Hats. DS Coupe Hats, why? Because in this pattern we're using a double crochet, there's the D. We're using a single crochet, there's the S. And we are coupling the double crochet and the single crochet together. So we're abbreviating the word couple to C-O-U-P-E. So DS Coupe Hats are what we are going to make today. This is a special note for this tutorial only. In this tutorial, we will have a stitch that we will refer to as a double crochet decrease. It will not be the correct way that you would normally do a double crochet decrease. But for this tutorial, to make it easier to understand, after giving you a demonstration of how to do that double crochet decrease for this tutorial, We will then refer to it throughout the remainder of the tutorial as a double crochet decrease, just for understanding purposes only. Later this week, I will actually release another video that correctly demonstrates the correct way to actually do a double crochet decrease. For this tutorial, a double crochet decrease is demonstrated as yarning over, inserting your hook into the appropriate stitch, and pulling up a loop. You will have 3 loops on the hook. You will then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. That will leave 2 loops on the hook. You will then insert your hook into the very next stitch and draw up a loop. You will have 3 loops on the hook. You will then yarn over and draw through all 3 loops. And for this tutorial, that is what will be referred to as a double crochet decrease. Even though it is not the correct way to make a double crochet decrease, it is just for tutorial clearancy for this video only. The correct way to do a double crochet decrease is to yarn over, insert your hook into the appropriate stitch, and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on the hook. You will then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook, and you will have 2 loops remaining. You will yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, and pull up a loop. This will give you 4 loops on the hook. You will then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook, and that will leave you with 3 loops on the hook. Then you will yarn over and pull through all 3. That is the correct way to do a double crochet decrease. And again, later this week, I will release a video correctly showing that stitch. So, as a final note, the reference to a double crochet decrease in this video is not the correct way to make a double crochet decrease. It is just being used for clarification for the way we are decreasing our double crochet for this hat pattern only. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy making the hat. To start this hat, we're going to start with a slip knot. Again, the loop on the hook does not count as a chain, and we are going to chain 9. Seven, 8, and 9. All right, we now have our chain of 9, and we are going to do a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So there's the first chain, and we're going to go right into the second chain and make a single crochet. And we're going to make a single crochet into the remaining 7 chains across. And I know it's sometimes hard to get going, especially when you have nothing to hold on to, but just do the best that you can. Especially if you're a beginning crocheter, don't get frustrated. Even some of us seasoned crocheters have a hard time with that. All right, so when you have made your 8 single crochets across, we are going to chain 1, and turn our work, and we're going to do a single crochet right into that first stitch that's part of our chain 1 at the base of our chain 1. Now we're going to do single crochets across, but for the next 6 single crochets we're going to do it in the back loop only. So go right into that back loop only and make a single crochet, and we're going to do that same method with the next 5 single crochets. So just go right into just the back loop only. And if you are new to crocheting, let me take a minute to show you what I mean. If you'll notice, and I don't know if it's going to be easy to see on this variegated yarn, but at the top of your yarn you have what looks like little V's or the bottom part of a heart. That is your stitches that you're going through, that you're putting your hook through. But we're going to simply go, see, here's the front one right here, and then this one right here is the back one. We're going to go just up under the back one to do those single crochets. And we're going to keep doing those single crochets in the back loop all the way across until we get to our last stitch. In that last stitch, we're going to just simply go under both strands, the front and the back loop, and we're going to do a single crochet. And this method is what is going to create the rib method or look that you see to our hat, giving it that nice rib texture. Now this is a lightweight yarn, so it's not showing as much, but of course I'm only, done 2 rows on here so far. But it doesn't show quite as much, but you can see it a little bit there. But again, looking back at these 2 hats, this method is what's going to create this rib look that we have made on both these hats. So let's chain 1, and we're going to give that row another go the same way. I'm going to do a single crochet under both loops in the first stitch, and then in the next 6 stitches we're just going to do a single crochet in the back loop only. And we are currently working on row 3. Do 1 more, and then in the very last stitch we are going to do a single crochet under both loops. And by doing that single crochet under both loops, it gives a defined or definitive edge to that brim. And then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to repeat this pattern doing 1 single crochet under both loops, 1 single crochet under the back loop only for the middle 6 stitches, and then a single crochet under both loops at the very end. Chain 1 and then repeat that pattern on the next row. And you're going to do that until you get to the end of row 70. So go ahead and work up your brim until you get to the end of row 70, and I will meet back up with you there. Once you have established your brim, we are going to actually sew it together and begin making the rest of the hat. We're going to chain 1, and you want to make sure that the amount of rows you've done were even rows. So when you flip your your brim of your hat as if you were going to start crocheting an odd row, then you know that you have the right side of your brim facing out. And if you're not sure, always remember that the right side of your work is established if your end tail is on the left-hand side. So you want to make sure that the right side of your work is on the outside. And again, that means that your beginning tail is on the left side. Now, again, establishing right side from wrong side. Right side is the side that will be worn out and that will be seen when the hat is worn. The wrong side is the inside that will not be seen when the hat is worn. All right. So let's go ahead and stitch our hat brim, or the brim of our hat, together. And we're going to do that by going right into that first stitch, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Go right into the first stitch, making sure you're getting both loops, and then you're going to do a slip stitch. And we're going to do that all the way across. Have those two sides lined up, and then just slip stitch them. And then we're going to do the last one here. Oh, we got two more, sorry. Now let's do the last one. And the brim of your hat is now together, and as you can see, it has created another one of those rib rows just like the rest of them. Okay, now if you were going to change colors and make your hat a different color from the brim, you would just fasten off your yarn and weave in your ends and then start with your new color. But I'm going to stick with the same color. Sorry, I'm trying to get my working yarn. There we go. And tighten that down. All right, chain one. And I am going to just work my tail in as I go. So after you chain one, we are going to work a double crochet right here in that same stitch as our chain one. So go ahead and work a double crochet. And if you are beginning, a double crochet is worked by inserting your hook. Let me go ahead and pull this out and demonstrate. You yarn over, insert your hook in the stitch, yarn over and pull up another loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. You have 2 loops remaining on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the last 2. Then we're going to work a single crochet right in that same stitch. And to do that, you just insert your hook. You do not yarn over to start with. You just insert your hook. Then you yarn over, you pull up a loop, and you now have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 2. And that is your first stitch combination of a double crochet and a single crochet together in that one stitch. Now we want to make sure that we're maintaining the number of rows that we made in our brim. So to do that, because we just put 2 stitches in that one stitch, giving us 2 stitches, that means we're going to now need to skip 1 in order to keep our amount. So in order to do that, because I made 2 into one stitch, I have to skip my next stitch. So let's skip the next stitch right there, and we're going to come to the next one, and working our tail yarn in with it, we're going to do a double crochet just like we did a minute ago, and we're going to do a single crochet right into that same stitch. All right, now we're going to skip the next one, and in the next one we're going to work a double crochet, and then we're going to work a single crochet right into that same stitch. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a double crochet, and in that same stitch we're going to work a single crochet. And this is our repeating pattern. So let's do a couple more together. We're going to skip the next stitch, and we're going to work a double crochet into the next. Right in that same stitch we're going to work a single crochet. We're going to skip the next one, and then in the next one we're going to work a double crochet, and we're going to work a single crochet. Let's do two more together. We're going to skip the next one, and then in the next stitch we're going to work a double crochet and a single crochet. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the next one we're going to work a double crochet and a single crochet. And at that point we've worked a good bit of our tail in, so then we can just come and snip off that extra, and then we'll just keep right on working. We'll skip the next stitch, and in the next one work a double crochet and then a single crochet. And we're going to keep doing that all the way around until we get to the end of the round. When you get to the end of the round, I will meet back up with you, and I will show you how to finish that round and go into the very next round. So when you've come to the end of round one and you're getting ready to join your round, I just want to first have you look back at the brim of your hat and make sure that each of your double crochet, single crochet stitches were always made in the top of the row that had the raised or the ribbed look to it, okay? So that every time you skipped a stitch, it was on the flat row. All right, so once you are ready to finish off your round and you've done your last double crochet, single crochet stitches, that should be in the last row of the last rib that you had before you come to the one where you actually joined your band and did your chain one. And we're going to go right into the top of that first double crochet that you made, and we're simply going to do a slip stitch to join the round. Then you're going to chain one, and right in that same stitch you're going to do a double crochet and then a single crochet. And just like you did in round one, you're going to skip a stitch, and you're going to go right into that next one and do a double crochet and then a single crochet into the same stitch. Now, if you'll remember, in the top of every rib row you made a double crochet and a single crochet. So you're making your double crochet, single crochet in round two in the top of every double crochet stitch. So when you skip the next stitch, that's going to be the single crochet stitch. So now when you go into the next double crochet to make your combo stitch of double crochet, single crochet, it's now going to line up with the flat part of your brim. So don't let that throw you off, okay? Because you're alternating every other stitch, but in round 1 you put 2 stitches in the same round. So don't let that throw you when it's not coming out as the stitch in the top of the ribbed row. So now in this round, the top of the ribbed row is going to be the stitches that you skip. All right, so let's go ahead and skip the next one, which is the top of that ribbed row, and we're going to go to the next one, which is the top of the flat row, and that's where we're going to make our double crochet, single crochet stitch. And then you're going to just keep repeating that pattern all the way around of skipping a stitch, working a double crochet, single crochet into the next, skipping, and then working a double crochet, single crochet into the next. When you get all the way back around, you're going to join into the top of the double crochet from the beginning of the round with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then you're going to continue that pattern round after round and keep working that repeat pattern until your hat measures 7 inches. When your hat measures 7 inches, I will meet back up with you and I'll begin to show you how to start doing the decreasing stitches to make the top of your hat and get it closed up and fastened off. So when you've done about 7 inches, we're going to start decreasing to form the top of our hat. And you can see I am just almost at 7 inches. I've got like just a smidgen off. It's about 6 and a little over 3/4 inches. So that's close enough. So just like we have been, we're going to slip stitch in the top of that first double crochet, chain 1, and then we're going to work the first 4 set of stitches like we have been. So right there in that base of that chain 1, we're going to go ahead and double crochet and single crochet in the same stitch. Skip 1, double crochet and single crochet in the same stitch. Skip 1, double crochet, single crochet in the same stitch, skip 1, and this is our 4th set of double crochet and single crochet. So now on the 5th stitch we're going to start a decrease, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to skip our stitch and we're going to start our double crochet into the next stitch like we would, but when you get halfway through the double crochet and you still have 2 loops left on the hook, we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, draw up a loop, pull through all 3 loops, and then work our single crochet in that same stitch that we did the last half of the double crochet in. So we did a double crochet decrease with a single crochet. So now we're going to skip the next stitch and we're going to start our next set. So we're going to start with 1 again and work our double crochet and our single crochet. We're going to skip a stitch and we're going to work our second group of stitches in this set. Double crochet, single crochet. We're going to skip a stitch, and in the next one we're going to work our double single crochet, which will make the 3rd in this set. And we're going to skip a stitch and we're going to work another double crochet, single crochet, which is the 4th in this set. And now for the 5th stitch, we're going to do our double crochet decrease, single crochet again, so that we're going to skip a stitch. We're going to go in and start our double crochet halfway through, and then we're going to go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, finish that double crochet, single crochet in that same stitch. And we're going to keep working this pattern all the way around the rest of this round until we come back to the beginning. So go ahead and work 4 sets of your stitches, your double crochet, single crochet, and when you go to do the 5th one, go ahead and do a double crochet decrease and your single crochet in the same stitch as the second part, in the second stitch of your double crochet decrease. And I will meet up with you at the end of this round. You're going to slip stitch to close the round off just like you have been, chain 1, and we're going to start our next group of set of stitches, and we're going to do just like we have been and make that double crochet, single crochet right in the base of that chain 1. So this time we're going to do our set of stitches, and again, when I refer to set, I mean the double crochet, single crochet, skip. We're going to do that a total of 3 times. So we've done a double crochet and a single right in the base of that stitch of the chain 1. So we're going to skip 1, and we're going to do another double crochet, single crochet set, skip 1, do another double crochet, single crochet set, and that makes 3. So now we're going to begin our double crochet decrease. So we're going to skip the next one. We're going to start our double crochet in the next one, and we're going to do only half of it. Then we're going to go into the next stitch, and we're going to finish that double crochet. And then we're going to work our single crochet right into the same stitch as the last half of our double crochet decrease. All right, let's do another group of our sets. So we're going to skip, and in the next one we're going to do a double crochet single, and that makes 1. We're going to skip, do a double crochet single, and that makes 2. We're going to skip and do a double crochet single, and that makes 3. So now we're going to work our double crochet decrease. So skip the next stitch, and in the next one do the first half of a double crochet, go into the next stitch and finish it, and in that same stitch make your single crochet. All right, so do that all the way around for the rest of that round, doing your group of 3 sets, then your double crochet decrease with single crochet, and do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the round. All right, when you get to the end of this round, we're going to join it with a slip stitch right through that first double crochet, chain 1, and this time we're going to do our group of sets doing 2 before we do a decrease. So let's go ahead and work some together. So double crochet, single crochet right in the base of that chain 1 makes 1. We're going to skip a stitch and go right into the next stitch and work a double crochet, single crochet, and that is 2. And so now we're going to work a double crochet decrease, and we're going to do half of it, go into the next stitch and complete the double crochet and a single crochet. Skip a stitch, and now we're going to do our first set in the next group. So double crochet, single crochet in the same stitch, skip a stitch, and in the next one we're going to work a double crochet and single crochet, and that is our second one. So now we're going to do a double crochet, half of it in the first stitch there, then into the next stitch. We'll finish that double crochet for the decrease and then do a single crochet right there with it. All right, let's do one more. Skip a stitch, do a double crochet into the next stitch, and a single crochet right in that same stitch. That is one set. Skip a stitch, double crochet into the next one, and add a single crochet with that same double crochet, and that completes the second set. Skip a stitch, and we're going to do the first half of a double crochet, go into the next stitch and finish that double crochet for the decrease, and do a single crochet in the same stitch as the last half of that double crochet decrease. All right, just keep doing that all the way around the rest of the round, and I'll meet you when you get back to the beginning of the round. When we get to the end of this round, we're going to go into the next round just like we have been, with a slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet and chain one. And for this round, we're going to continue with our sets, but this time we're just going to do one before the decrease stitch. So right in that same base stitch of the chain one, we're going to do a double crochet, single crochet, and we're going to skip a stitch, and then we're going to do the first half of our double crochet, go into the next stitch and complete our double crochet, and then our single crochet. Skip a stitch, and we're going to work our one set of double crochet, single crochet, and then we're going to skip a stitch, and in the next one we're going to work half of our double crochet and then go into the next stitch and finish the last half of the double crochet, and then do a single crochet in that same stitch. And we're going to continue this all the way around the rest of the round. So again, skip one, do a double crochet, do a single crochet into that same stitch, skip one, and do the first half of your double crochet, complete it in the next stitch, and then also add a single crochet in that same stitch. So continue doing that all the way around, and I will meet you when you're finished. And you should be able to start to tell that your hat is definitely closing in and getting smaller on the top part. When you get to the end of this row, we're going to just continue as we have been, slip stitching into the top of that first double crochet from the beginning of the round, chain one, and then with this round and the remaining rounds, we're going to just do our decrease sets. So we're going to, right in the base of that chain one, start our double crochet, go right into the next stitch, complete the double crochet decrease, and in the same stitch add a single crochet. Skip a stitch and go into the next stitch and start the first half of your double crochet decrease, go into the next stitch and complete that double crochet decrease and do a single crochet in the same stitch. Skip the next stitch, do the first half of your double crochet, go into the next stitch and complete that double crochet decrease, and in the same stitch add your single crochet. Let's do one more. Skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch start the first half of your double crochet. In the next stitch finish it, and in that same stitch work a single crochet. You're going to go ahead and keep doing that same stitch pattern all the way around to the beginning of the round. You will slip stitch into the top of the double crochet at the beginning of the round, chain one, and continue just doing the double crochet, single crochet, decrease stitch for every round until you are literally at the top of your hat and cannot do any more. And I will meet you there. When you get to the end of the last round that you're going to be able to do, go ahead and slip stitch to end the round, chain 1, and then go ahead and give yourself a tail of about 6 inches. And then go ahead and pull that all the way through to secure it. And grab a yarn needle. And we're going to use our yarn needle to close up the last of that hole. We're just going to kind of line it up just like that. And then just keep going through and just closing it up. And I'm just going to go back across one last time. And then when I have my hole all nice and closed up, I am just going to, where these other stitches kind of created a little bit of gaps at the last round that I did, I'm just going to kind of weave in and out of some of these stitches. Like that. And finish going around. Well, obviously it doesn't want me going in that stitch, but I want to go in that stitch. Wow. All right, there we go. And I came out. Let me go back in it. It does not want me going in that stitch. There we go. So let me just pull that through. And then we'll just go in these last little ones. Make sure I get that all pulled nice and tight. And then just go right down through the center of the hat and pull it out on the other side. And when you do that, you see you've secured the top of that hat. So then on the inside, I'm going to turn my hat wrong side out. I'm just going to grab a couple little stitches like that, and I'm just going to knot it off. Secure that knot in like that. And then I'm just going to go through the top of some of these stitches. And then I'm going to go back the same way I came to secure my tail in. And I'm going to go back the opposite direction one more time. And that should be good enough. And I'm going to trim my tail. Turn my hat right side out again. here we go. There is our hat. So now that we have completed this hat, I'm going to show you how, with the other two hats that I had done before the video, let's just push all this out the way. We're going to add pom-poms to our hats. So I'm going to kind of push this one out of the way for now. We'll just go ahead and we'll work on this one first. So I'm just going to insert my hook up here, and I'm just going to come right into the center of the hat, and I'm going to grab these long tails of my pom-pom, and I'm going to pull them through. I'm going to reach in and grab those long tails. And then I'm going to hold on to them and turn my hat wrong side out. And then I'm going to take my hook, go right there in the center, and I'm going to grab just one of those tails and pull it through like that. And then I am just going to take those two ends, and I'm just going to tie it in a knot, pull it as tight as I can without breaking my yarn. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it again. And then I'm not going to go down to the knot, but I'm just going to leave just a tiny little tail there. Cut that off. And then turn my hat right side out. And then this hat has a nice little pom-pom on it. Now, I will be releasing a video later this week that shows you how to make pom-poms. So be sure and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, or if you're new to my channel, so you will not miss that video when it comes out, or any of my future videos. So let's put that hat to the side, and let's go ahead and bring this one back around, and we're going to add this pom-pom. So again, we're going to come find the center of the hat, and I think about right there. Maybe right there. Well, and I do want to be certain, so I'm going to kind of lay my hat down, and according to this, it looks like right there is the center of my hat. So I'm going to lay it down again and then pick it up, and that looks about right. So I'm going to grab these yarns, and on this one I have 4 yarns, and I'm just going to pull those through. I'm going to reach in and grab all those yarns, and then I'm going to turn my hat wrong side out. And just like I did before, I'm going to split these 2 yarns. And I'm going to come up underneath some of these stitches and pull them through. And then I'm just going to tie them down really tight and knot them. So they don't come loose. And I'm going to do the same thing I did on the last one. I'm not going to cut all the way to the knots, but I am going to leave just a little bit of a tail, not much, because you're not going to be able to see it from the inside. And there we go. And that is our hat, and it has a pom-pom. And here are our 3 hats done in the same stitch pattern, but yet 3 entirely different hats. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. And I hope that you are enjoying these Funday Mondays as we work on these Hat Not Hate project. And I look forward to next Monday and working on our 4th pattern for our hats. In the meantime, have a great week. Be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, and make your own joyful creations. Bye.